Ready?
Yeah.
All right. Hey, this is my buddy Alex, and Alex is with Mirrorless Productions. And as you know, I'm Tom from Viral Solutions, and we've been working together for a while, done quite a few what you call films, we call videos. I know that means higher class to you and things like that. But anyway, Alex, if you could kind of talk to our audience a little bit about your company.
Yeah, completely. I'm Alex Belville. I am a local Oshkosh, Wisconsin resident, and I consider myself a filmmaker first and foremost. I've been running a video production company here in Oshkosh for the last 5 years. For me, I've loved film since I was a young kid, since 6 years old.
Wow.
When I graduated from high school, I wanted to go to college for radio, TV, and film. And I did, but I quickly, within that year at 18 years old, kind of lost my way. Just with drinking and drugs, and from 18 to 21, I really struggled. And, you know, I
Tough times, man. Tough times.
It was. I was just young and, you know, really was still kind of finding out who I was and what I wanted to do. I changed my life around at 22 and very quickly got into creating videos. I went back to school for radio, TV, and film. I started filming myself, talking about my story. I started making music. I started a YouTube channel and put my videos online. And when I wasn't in class at UWO, I would go around campus promoting my videos online and in person. And so people started to know me as, like, you know, the guy who made videos, the guy who made music, and told my story.
All as a hobby.
Yes. So early on, it was all as a hobby.
Yeah.
But I kind of say that it very quickly changed from a hobby to, like, I knew that that's what I wanted to do. I mean, at about 6 to 9 months in, like, I was, like, all in. Like,
wow.
I didn't know, you know, how I was going to make a career out of it or, you know, what the future looked like. But about, you know, 2 years after that, I knew I wanted to start a video production company. I wasn't quite, you know, ready to, but you're never ready for it. And that's kind of the beauty. And I had a professor that actually pushed me to start the company while I was still in school.
Man, that's a fantastic story. What drives our heart and what drives our passion to do things is what I've always felt is what makes work and business into a life choice, career, and you can't believe you get paid to do this, right?
Completely.
So can you kind of talk about some, I mean, you've worked on some really big projects with some really big people. I mean, you know, bow down here, Alex. So can you talk about some of those? I mean, let's put some plugs out there.
Yeah, completely. Well, I'll give you even just a little bit more of a backstory of, like, what I started out with. So it really went early on from me, you know, telling my story and making videos for myself to starting freelance even before I started the business. So it was making videos for myself. Then it was people, you know, started to hear I did videos, so I was making wedding videos, music videos for artists in the area. And then once I started the business, I remember in 2016, it was our first business client. It was a nonprofit. And from there, I truly fell in love with telling stories and creating videos for businesses and brands. And so over that next couple of years, it was working with a lot of local organizations that really, you know, gave me enough work and, you know, to get to that point of where I could make a video for a bigger brand. And our quality grew. And that's where you mentioned, you know, some of the bigger people. I've been very fortunate to work with people like, you know, Gary Vaynerchuk. Our company has had a...
Oh, wait a minute. If y'all don't know who Gary Vaynerchuk is, like the king in marketing out of New York City. Guy's so big someday he wants to own the New York Jets.
Yep.
All right, keep going.
That is what he says. So we've had a partnership since 2018 with Vayner Sports, where we've been able to create a lot of really cool videos with some of their NFL players. Naturally, we love the Green Bay Packers. So I've loved the content that we've done with the Packer players, specifically Geronimo Allison, and then we've also made one video for Josh Jackson. And that has just been like a dream opportunity for me. Creating videos for them early on transpired to us going to, you know, the Super Bowl and filming every one of Vayner Sports' Super Bowl events. And that was like a dream come true opportunity. It was 4 or 5 days in Atlanta at parties and filming athletes and creating recap videos. And it was a time I will forever look back on.
Wow. Congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Major achievement for all you've been through in your life, and great. I know how important family is, and you know your mom and dad have a great business in town too, and I'm sure they're quite proud of you, right, Mom? I know. So we started getting involved with you when we needed to tell our story, and we had clients who were doing videos but it wasn't congruent with the marketing the way we were setting them up with clients. And I know a lot of our viewers out there would love to know what you think about the role of storytelling is in a video.
Yes. I love storytelling. I mean, not even just through video, but I think video is truly the most impactful way to tell your story. So the beauty of video is just like this right now, you guys watching us, you get to see, I think video is the strongest medium because you get to see everything about someone. You get to see our personality. I move my hands a lot. You get to see my body language, right? You don't get all that. Like if I share a picture on Facebook, for example, and I write out something nice, like that's great, but you don't get to see all of me in my authentic self. In video, you get everything. And that's why audiences are able to connect with that. You get to see someone's true self. And then, you know, for us, I specialize in creating cinematic videos. So I love kind of taking that next level. And, you know, I meet with people just like this in person in like our initial consultation. And I just start asking you questions about your story, about your business story. And that's how I'm able to come up with what your story is.
Here's what I love about Alex. I got to tell you one of my little backstories. So we were first working together. We were doing some of our own Viral Solutions videos, and we chose to do those with Alex and really got along well. And Shannon, our copywriter and storyteller, and Marissa, who controls a lot of our customers' design aspects and stuff, started putting this together. And then when we got the films back from you, you know, our marketer side takes over and we put these out on social media. And one of the facts we know is, you know what I'm going to say, don't you?
I do. I knew right away.
Is 90% of people tend to watch videos on social media without audio. So we wanted to caption them. And my buddy Alex here wasn't too happy with me about that.
I cringed, let's be honest. I cringed, but I understood it. And I understand it even better today.
So that's part of the process, though, that you go through in learning your customer. I mean, what we loved is you didn't just show up to shoot or edit or just, hey, what do you want me to do? I mean, you're really involved in the whole storyboard process, the script process. You're big on picking out the right music to go with the video. Can you talk about how you feel that that helps you tell the story and helps our audience who's using this video to try and sell more in their business, right?
Completely. So there's a big thing. In filmmaking, there is 3 steps. There is pre-production, production, and post-production. What I have truly learned in the 8-9 years of creating videos is that the more time that I spend in pre-production with our clients, planning out videos and taking the time, you know, to really piece everything together before I ever show up at a business and shoot, that video will be that much more successful. So like you mentioned, you know, like us, like we got together, you know, I think the first time we got together and we had that initial consultation, we met for like 2, maybe 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
And Tom did a great job, though, because what I really need from clients, too, is like, I need them to tell me their story. I need that, you know, to hear about them and who their clients are, what their avatar is. I need all of that. And so it's, you know, really up to me to ask those right questions. But Tom really knocked it out of the park the first time I met with you, like just really giving me everything about Viral Solutions.
Well, we're a marketing agency. We better, right?
Completely. So we were just, we kind of set each other up for success. But for me, too, it's, you know, taking that time with the client, but it's also going back to my studio in my own time and, you know, looking at your guys' website. Okay, what are some things that you guys have? What don't you have? You know, looking at your social media. But then for me, it's also, you know, trying to find that creative piece to your story. In a creative way, how can I tell Tom and Viral Solutions' story? And for us, though, I think the one thing that makes our videos unique at Mirrorless is the way that we create videos with music, I think is really unique to us, is I find music for every single client video that we make. And I, after, you know, how we met and I
So
learned
wait.
everything.
You're custom tailoring your shot selection, the storyboard, and you're custom picking the music. But, I mean, isn't music just something you overlay onto a film and let it go in the background?
Not at all.
Wow.
I think some of the best video.
Because I've noticed this about you. You're like, you'll give our crew and us, you'll go, hey, what do you think of this music for this film? And we'll go, sure. Now, but you're thinking something different. And what's that?
Completely. I think for us is that like the music really helps, I think, take the viewer on a journey. It allows the audience to connect. Like that music has to be really fit to your brand. You know, the vibe of that, the pace of that. It helps drive the whole video along and the viewer as they're watching that video. So my favorite thing that we do is that once I learn everything about, you know, a client or potential client, when I go to write that script, I'm literally writing the words to that script to the music, thinking about you, thinking about what we're going to film. This is all happening before we even film it. And I consider it like this. It's like how an artist writes a song to a beat. That's the same way I write a script.
You know, what I found amazing with you is, you know, a lot like marketing agencies, they get into a groove. We're only going to work with this type of business or industry or whatever, so they know it well. But I've seen you work with Gary Vaynerchuk and filming his crew down to the 2019 Super Bowl. I've seen you do some local businesses and like some of the local entities that promote this area. And then we bring you along a video for a church in Oklahoma that you never went to. You never met them, right? And we're going to send you out to Maryland pretty soon to shoot a video for a charity out there where they have a disabled child doing fundraising for. And whatever we throw at you, it doesn't faze you, Alex. How do you do that?
That's a great question, and I feel like Tom really built me up there. So thank you. That means a lot, seriously. I like to say like this. I consider myself, you know, a filmmaker and a storyteller. I've just really thrown myself into the business world, and now we've worked with so many different people that I feel like I can really successfully create the different videos, you know, for different brands and businesses. But really what it is, you know, it's taking that time to learn about them. But so for, you know, a lot of people niche down, like you were just saying. A lot of people niche down on like, you know, the type of people or the type of businesses they work with. For me, I focus on niching down on our process. And I think that's what's key, is how am I telling that 60-second video? You know, there's a similar vibe happening in the way that I create a 60-second video, but everyone's story is different, so those videos don't necessarily feel the same.
I like how you explain that, because that's what we believe. We believe that really, regardless of industry, if we understand your customer's problem and how you solve the problem, we can market right content for you, hire Alex for video production, change your website. We truly believe it doesn't matter what you do, and you believe the same thing, don't you?
Completely. And again, you know, part of that, like, you know, like I feel like I'm hitting the nail on the head, but saying about taking that time, you know, to learn about someone, but it's also taking the time to see what else is out there. So like, let's say if we're working with a mattress company, well, okay, what are videos out there, and like, how can we do that differently than the next local mattress, you know, commercial on TV?
That's right. You did Cynamex for us, which is a $2 billion mattress company. Okay. So let's go a little bit deeper, get a little bit granular. So we kind of talked about music, but you've helped me with lighting and setup and camera selection, and thank you. I mean, I'm probably not your typical client that you walk in and you don't, everything's ready for you, right?
Tom has a better live setup than me right now. I'm gonna go on record and say that. I'm impressed.
So, but what about lighting? What about background? What about camera selection? I mean, we've got some people that are novices out there. How difficult is this?
I mean, the world of video production is extremely vast. There's no doubt about that. But the beauty is that, you know, anyone can buy, you know, a pair of lights. You know, the internet is filled with so much of like, do it yourself, and this is how you do it, and YouTube, right? Like anyone, if they're willing to take that time, can learn about 3-point lighting. Having 3 lights is key. So, you know, we look nice in this video. So it's really, you know, if you want to learn that, you can. But so for us, I really love, you know, higher end videos, cinematic videos. Because the truth is that we all love movies. Like, you know, it's really hard for someone to say, I've never watched anything. I don't have a favorite show, or I don't have a favorite movie, right?
Yeah.
Like, we all connect with, you know, filmmaking and movies or shows.
And we all watch a movie and they go, well, they could have told that story a little differently or filmed that a little differently.
100%.
Right?
And so my big thing and kind of selling point is that we all love movies and shows, right? So even the videos that we create with, you know, with businesses and brands, they should feel like mini movies. They should be like indie films. They should look more cinematic. And we should focus more on story instead of selling. Because if you tell a good story, you can sell anything.
So then in this storytelling, and it's possible to do these, like we're doing our own video here with Viral Solutions. This isn't your equipment. We're going to
No.
edit it, things like that.
Yep.
But we chose to hire you to do the really good pro stuff, okay, that's more evergreen, long lasting, like we
Yep.
talk about in our industry.
Yep.
How involved do you get your customer? As involved as they want to be? Let them run the whole show. What's your perfect scenario with a customer?
And just to clarify, would you be saying like in terms of like in the planning and like the creation of that?
Pre-production.
Okay.
Yeah, and then of
Yeah.
course when they get it back and they see it and they go, well, that just doesn't do it for me, and all of that. So how does all of that exchange work?
And that's a great question. That question surprises me because I get that from a lot of people.
Okay.
And that really goes back to, again, which is I've learned over the years. It's not like I knew all this when I started out, but it's that let's spend more time in pre-production to get things planned out. So it's really like what we'll do is, we'll spend that time with them. We'll have that initial consultation. I'll look at their content, do a deep dive, maybe meet with them again. But then when I write out the script, I'll also write out a shot list. Then I'll pick out, that music too, but I'll send them all of that. Before we ever show up and shoot at their business, they're hearing the music to their video, they're reading the script, they're approving it. The truth is they know their business, better than me on any given day, so it's up to them on the final word choice.
But they still can't see it, and you're letting them
Yes.
have a say through all the process to whatever they're comfortable with.
So there definitely has to be some faith in me there.
Sure.
I feel like that faith, is there from them simply even reaching out to us and asking us to create the video. But I just hope that all that stuff that we provide them in like the pre-production approval, again, the script, the music, and the shot list. If they see all that, they can at least be that much closer. I'm giving them a layup to say, okay, this is what the video may look like. But my goal is to still knock it out of the park and have them be blown away when they see the final piece. Okay, that is so much better than what I thought it was going to be.
So this final piece, it can be different lengths too?
So that's we usually establish that early on, and that's a great point too. We have 3 different packages on our website. We create 2-minute videos, 60-second videos, and 30-second. But what's really neat is like our biggest package, and as each package gets bigger, we break it down. So if we make you a 2-minute video, we also give you a 60-second, a 30-second. We pull out images, video stills out of the video. We provide that. You can use that in your website, your background. And then we also, like for a 60-second, we'll give you a 30-second too. And then we cater to different social media platforms. So like we give you a version for YouTube, a higher size, file. Then we give you a version for Facebook, a version for Instagram. And that's one of the things I'm really proud of is over the years, we've done a really good job at catering to different social media platforms. And that's just come with the growth and changes of these platforms.
Okay. Now, so we talked about story planning.
Yep.
We talked about all the different types of productions. We talked about who you've worked with, how you work with the customer. We talked about a little bit on background lighting, music, how all that goes together. How can organizations make their videos stand out? I mean, when you look at a competitor that's done a video or a video you've done that you wish maybe you could have done it differently or you called back to film or to edit it or whatever, what do you think it is that makes a story stand out that works both for you from the cinema side and for the customer that they feel, hey, this really told what we wanted to say about our business?
That's a great question too. I mean, for me, that kind of starts diving into their branding. I kind of joke with people that outside of video, I do have this kind of weird love with branding. It's kind of what I do in video too, is I help brand that business, right? Or I help, enlighten or elevate their brand. And at least that's what I hope to do. But my biggest thing is that when we do a really successful video and we tell the story and the messaging is on point, we push them to be bold. Or they were bold and they were okay with like getting bold in that video and their messaging. And that to me just goes into what I think businesses and brands should be doing is more than ever in 2020, it is so important to be your authentic self. To be bold, to not sit in the middle. You're either down here or up here.
Take a stance, take a position. This is the turf I own.
You have to.
That's the story I'm going to tell.
Yep.
Okay.
I think more than ever, especially you look at right now, like with the last 2.5 months with the pandemic and the coronavirus, has been tough on a lot of us. I think, some businesses have got a little bit quiet. Some have sat in the middle. Some have been bold. I think it was still a time to get bold. You know what I mean? To talk to your audience, but to do that from a place that is natural to you.
Absolutely.
And not everyone has that messaging online, so that can be the hard part. Like, don't get me wrong. There's sometimes, let's say, a business that comes to us and wants to make a video. Maybe they've been in business for 5 to 10 years. They've been doing everything right, but they haven't made a video yet. And their messaging is great.
How many videos do you think a company needs?
That's a good question, too. I mean, I look at it like this. If you've never done any videos and on your website you have no videos, the truth is that no one wants to spend it right now in 2020 20, 30 minutes going through your website to learn about you.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have no video on there, that's a problem. We got to change that.
So maybe start with a 60-second, 2-minute video on what is it that makes you unique.
Completely.
Or if your culture is important to you, take that topic. But basically start with like what we would call the About Us video.
100%. That's actually the biggest, I think, video that we do for a lot of people is people, especially in the last year and a half, people have come to us with, hey, we just got our new website done. We really need a video. It's like the final piece for our business and brand. And I love that. That's like perfect. That's when Mirrorless should come in, right? Mm-hmm. And then it's usually this like, when it's that, in that instance, a 2-minute video is great. It tells their story. We can, talk about their culture, their team. We can show everything. And then what you can do is, it could be months later, it could be a year later, but then let's start breaking it down. Maybe let's do a video on their top service, right? The service that brings them in the most money and that's most profitable. Let's make a video about that service.
Okay.
Now, and then my other big thing is...
So after the about, then you get into like product or service.
Yes.
What we would call your core offer, your foundation piece, the thing that majority buy, and then you kind of try and build and tier off of those, right?
Completely.
Okay.
And then, this is going to be a fun one. Not everyone has this, right? But outside of I push a lot of businesses to be bold. Just like I think, I even push myself day in and day out to be bold, to put myself in front of the business. Just like Tom does so successfully. But that's what I love to see. That's another big one for me is personal branding. I love when business owners like you put yourself in front of the camera and more importantly, in front of the business.
Well, I'm not the best person. It's just because I'm the only one that'll do it. But thank you.
No, you do a great job at it. But that's a big thing to me too is I don't even care what size business you are.
Yeah.
I think that most business owners and CEOs should be in front of the camera, should be more upfront on their social media. And I get why sometimes they can't be.
So when you talk about a personal brand, you aren't necessarily talking about that one individual that's like a keynote speaker and that's all they do. You're talking about, say, like our organization, currently 14 people at this time of filming, but I've kind of become the video face. And so that's what you mean by somebody who can use the video to help put a face to a company, even if they're billions of dollars?
Yes, completely. Because, the truth is, so Tom just gave a little breakdown of his business. It is easier for me, like when I first met Tom, it was easier for me to connect with Tom than it was necessarily his company, Viral Solutions. It's just that person, your personality is there, that connection. I connect with you first. Then I'm able to connect
No
with your
shortage
business.
there, Alex.
Not at all. But, the easiest example on a high-end scale, Steve Jobs and Apple.
Yeah.
Right there.
It's the one everybody remembers, right?
It is,
yeah.
But he had the biggest personal brand. He's, sadly not with us anymore, and he still does.
Yeah.
His personal brand lives on.
Yeah.
Online.
Good point.
I think that's the easiest one. And I can relate to that so hard, not just using that as some easy example, but I'm a Mac lover day in and day out. And I grew up looking up to him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was him and then Apple.
Okay. So last thing. Piece of advice you'd give an organization about either getting started making videos or getting more serious in the quality of the videos they make. I mean, we've got a lot of people here that are going to be watching this that do Facebook Lives during the pandemic, or the Zoom communication is a real big deal. But I see a lot of those people, they're using, say, a webcam, hey, no problem, laptop camera, things like that. It is possible to up that quality, though, isn't it?
Yes, completely.
Okay.
And I mean, so that's a great point, and thank you for bringing that up. But I think people should be really trying to, up that professionalism. In not just in video too, but in their content. If there was ever a better time in the last 2.5 months than for all of us to look at our business, to look at our messaging, to look at our site. Like for me, my site needs to be updated. Okay, now is the time to do that. In video, like he mentioned with the webcam, could you maybe get a camera? Even a $500 camera and go live on Facebook off of that instead of our webcam? I know it's not possible for everyone, but we need to start looking at those things of, okay, how can we take it to the next level? I understand that we create high-end videos, and not everyone is able to afford that. I understand that, but I also push our clients to not just always make a high-end video with us, but we all have, cell phones in our pocket that shoot even 4K video. Like my iPhone shoots 4K.
Wow.
I should still be sharing videos from my phone on our social media. I can't even always put out a high-end video. We only put out a really nice video every couple of months at Mirrorless for ourselves. But throughout that time, I can be telling our story through pictures on social media, by going live, on Facebook, on Instagram. I can be sharing little videos on our story from my phone. And that really lets in, I think, a nice connection too.
So even as a professional creator of cinema quality videos, you do believe that there is a time and a place for the candid phone camera, camcorder, DSLR pictures, whatever it might be. There's a time and a place for that.
100%.
And a time and a place for a well-produced cinema quality video to represent you. And you're saying that a mix of those is really the world that we exist in today.
Yes, completely.
Fantastic.
If you do it that way, you will be your most authentic self.
Ooh, that's pretty important.
Yeah,
All right.
it is.
So Alex, if somebody wants to get a hold of you,
Yes, all of our social media is Mirrorless Prod. MIRRORLESSPROD.
beautiful. I'm Tom with Viral Solutions. Thanks for listening to Alex for a while. Let me tell you what, great guy, super easy to work with. Our whole team loves him. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Tom's awesome.